I want to dedicate this to anyone who's lost someone as a direct result of this fatal disease. Dear Mom and Dad, who thought we'd be where we are 29 years later? When I look down, I can still see my picture on your nightstand. You know, the one in my yellow T-ball uniform. I remember that day like it was yesterday. It was picture day. You begged me to smile, but I refused to because my friends were watching, and at that time I was still missing my front 2 teeth. I made it up to you later though. I got my first hit that day. I don't think I've ever seen you and Daddy so happy before. When we got home later that night, you made raviolis for me, my favorite. You know, the way you used to make it with the special cheese. Anyway, when I look down, I see every time that you stare at that picture and cry uncontrollably, questioning where you went wrong as a parent, wondering how the sweet little boy in that picture turned into what I eventually became. I see everything, Mom. I look down and watch you scroll through your text messages so you can read the last conversation we had. I look down and watch you call my phone just so it can go to voicemail for you to listen to my voice once again. I watch you post things on social media, pretending that you're okay when I know that you're really not. I watch you sit and reminisce, visualizing how you would pack my lunch before school, kiss me on my forehead, and walk me to the bus stop. In those visualizations, I hear your thoughts. You're wondering where everything went wrong. How'd we go from T-ball and Ninja Turtle lunchboxes to this? I see Dad too. He still saves my seat when he watches the game at home. From time to time, I even see him look over. He just stares for a few seconds. Every now and then he'll even say a few words and wait to see if I'll reply. Sometimes he gets emotional. You won't see that side of him though. He always gets himself together before he comes back upstairs. He loves you very much. He just wants to be strong for you. Don't tell him I told you that though. I see everything he does. He doesn't say much, but I can see his thoughts. I think his favorite memory was my first school dance. I was so nervous that night. I made you guys feel like I had everything figured out, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to fit in. I see everything Dad does. He goes back to my graduation day a lot. He was so proud to call me his son that day. We spent hours the day before at the mall, picking out the perfect outfit. We were supposed to get it a few weeks before, but of course, we waited until the last day. Don't tell him I told you that either. Anyway, I want you to know how much I love you. I want you to know that every time I said this would be the last time, I meant it from the bottom of my heart. I wanted nothing more than to get clean for myself and show you guys that I had finally beat this thing. At some of my worst points, I would sit and think to myself, although up until this point I've been unable to prove it, I wish they knew how strong my desire to get clean was. I wish they knew what was going on in my head and what demons I was really battling. I wish they knew how bad I wanted to get clean so I could finally get myself together, establish myself as an adult, and even have a few kids of my own. I wish things would have turned out that way, but they didn't. And finally, I'm okay with that. It took me a while to understand, but at this point, I'm serving a much greater purpose. Although I lost my physical life on Earth, my life has and will continue to go on and do unimaginable things. I'm not gone at all. As a matter of fact, in a sense, I've become omnipresent. My life was sacrificed to serve a higher purpose and show millions that this is in fact a disease. My life was sacrificed to make a difference and show kids all over the world that popping pills isn't cool. Contrary to what you may think, Percocet and heroin are the exact same things. In that case, you're no cooler than the people you make fun of for doing heroin because you're doing the exact same thing. And if you haven't gotten to that point yet, if you keep going, I can assure you that you will. My life was sacrificed to raise awareness so our next generation is better prepared. I've had amazing organizations create scholarships in my name that will be instrumental in the life of so many and live much longer than I ever could have on this earth. My life was sacrificed to give others a better perspective of their own. Me dying as young as I did will make others appreciate life and the blessing that it truly is. If you still have your family, talk to them, spend time, Listen, be inquisitive, and ask questions that otherwise you would have never known if they were to leave the world today. My life was sacrificed for you to use my name and my story to advocate for others. Mom, we need your help. You have the power to make a difference. Be brave. Don't be ashamed. Share my story with millions of other mothers so they won't have to live it. Use my story to influence litigation, break barriers, and challenge the way this disease is approached. In 1955, a man by the name of Emmett Till was brutally beaten and murdered for whistling at a white woman. He was beaten so brutally that his face became unrecognizable until the body was later claimed by the family. The general consensus leading up to the funeral undoubtedly made everyone believe that the mother would elect to hold a closed casket funeral. Instead, she elected to keep the casket open so the entire world would see exactly what those men did to her son. With permission of the mother, photos were taken at the funeral and eventually published in several well-known magazines across the country. The incredible courage displayed by his mother would eventually spark what we know today as the Civil Rights Movement, lead to the abolition of the Jim Crow laws, and pave the way for a man you may have heard of, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Mom, the day I got here, I was just as confused as you were. And then God sat me down and said, "Son, in life, some people don't need you to preach a sermon. They need to see you live one so they can connect with it, identify with it, and become better because of it." Let me say that again. In life, some people don't need you to preach a sermon. They need to see you live one so they can connect with it, identify with it, and become better because of it. It didn't make much sense at first, but now I understand very clearly, and this is what I need from you and Dad. Sincerely, your son.